Oh, you're here for the forecast, huh? The weekly forecast. Well, okay. You probably saw last week's forecast or the week before. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Subscribe. But you probably saw last week's forecast or the week before. And so you know that Mars is in the shadow of his retrograde. Mercury is retrograde. Mercury and Venus are essentially the two final dispositors of the situation. Mercury is retrograde and Venus is in Mercury's sign of Virgo, where she's not so happy. Lots of stuff to do, and probably no real resolution to anything. And that's the story through, I'd say, the better part of September. So, I mean, what can I say? What can I say in terms of a forecast? Well, a couple little things might be happening that are worth noting. Certainly, this period of time, September, where we can say that things are uncertain and likely to be requiring revision, hasn't exactly been quiet. It's not like nothing has happened. It's not like there's been, it's an easy time and you can just sort of, let stuff go. That's certainly true in the collective, where, we've had all kinds of events that have happened, including the passing of the Queen. That was sad. And also, we've had, Russia shut off the pipeline of gas to Europe and things like, all kinds of things happening. So we can't look at it and say nothing is happening. In personal lives, too, it doesn't seem like things are going all that much more smoothly than they are on the collective level. As a matter of fact, talking to clients and family members and friends and so on, it doesn't look like it's been a very quiet time at all. So we have to deal with things. We have to find some way to go forward or not go too far backwards, because we really are dealing with retrograde situations. I mean, don't forget, not only is Mars in the shadow of retrograde and Mercury is retrograde, but Jupiter is retrograde and Saturn and Uranus and Neptune and Pluto. Everybody's going backwards right now. Outer planet reversals don't usually mean that much because they're retrograde so much of the time, but when we have everybody retrograde at the same time, you feel you're pulling back. And as a matter of fact, there was a time earlier this year, let's say February, March, where everybody was going direct. What was that? March, April type of thing. Everybody was moving forward. No one was retrograde. And that was a time when it was easy to get things done. Changes happened rapidly. Easy to get things done makes it sound like you get what you want. But stuff happens when everything is going forward. Now that everybody's going retrograde, you can still get stuff done, but things still happen. Time continues to go forward. Time doesn't go retrograde, not literally clock time at any rate. Doesn't go retrograde. So things are always, in that sense, moving forward, but which energies are helping to push forward? Not a lot right now. So did I just tell you, just don't do anything? Maybe. Well, at the end of next week, let's say Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I would say don't do anything. I would say that's a pretty valid strategy for the end of the week, because the sun is opposite Neptune. The sun being opposite Neptune, it is a very, very difficult time to get a realistic feel of things. And that's really true throughout the entire week. It might be a little bit more true for Leos and Pisces than for other folks, but let's not make big statements like that. But the sun opposite Neptune, classically what happens, this is an opposition, so we project onto others, right? It's an opposition. You see somebody's looking at you. What you looking at me for? Somebody's looking at you, and so we're going to project onto them. That happens with oppositions. Neptune is not a very realistic planet. I mean, there's a lot of great stuff about Neptune. There's a lot of wonderful stuff about Neptune. It just doesn't translate down here to practical, earthy, Saturnian reality very well. So what we're likely to do, what we're likely to see when we have the sun opposite Neptune is that some folks really get blown out of proportion in a positive way, and some we blow out of proportion in a negative way. We make gods and demons, heroes and villains out of ordinary folks. It's almost always the case when the sun aspects Neptune, but particularly with an opposition. So, you could really think somebody is just absolutely wonderful. There could be this sort of, adoration kind of energy. Or on the other hand, it could be this person is like the absolute worst. This is the evil incarnate kind of thing. I mean, they may be really good people. They may be really annoying to you. Most likely they're just complex people like all the rest of us. Maybe you don't get along that well for one reason or the other. But we tend to blow things out of proportion. Watch and see what happens in the news Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and look for individuals to be really blown out of proportion. England will provide, I mean, it's almost like the perfect scenario for this. With the Queen's funeral, I don't know when that's going to be, and King Charles, this is real fertile ground for projection and so on. And, very likely in kind of a nice way. On the other hand, we will also find some real villains in other stories, and we're likely to, I don't want to make social political statements because then you get like a lot of nasty comments and this, but you just look and see. Some folks are going to be viewed as being really terrific, and some are going to be viewed as being really evil, and some of them are kind of a little on the evil side. What are you going to do? So you look for that at the end of the week. Before you get to the end of the week, I'm giving the forecast backwards, right? This is retrograde after all. I'm giving the forecast backwards. Before you get to the end of the week, you have this really interesting midweek thing that will affect relationships. As Venus and Mars and partnership asteroid Juno all kind of square off with each other. Venus in Virgo, where she's not too happy. Juno out in Pisces, where she's pretty happy. And Mars in Gemini, where, could go this way, could go that way. So, but their energies are not really meshing all that well. It is a fortunate thing, of course, that Juno is in Venus's favorite sign. But the overall feel of this energy, which I would say stretches from Tuesday all the way out to Thursday, blending seamlessly with that Sun-Neptune energy, is that there could be some conflict in relationship. Essentially, what you want and what you got may not be on the same page. There's a lot of Gemini here, right? We have Gemini, we have Pisces, a lot of dual energy, right? So we bring the dualism of energy of the signs into the area of relationship. And so we wind up with things like, well, I'm of this mind about this relationship, and I'm of this mind of it. I'm in and I'm out. This is that kind of thing. This is a good thing. This is not such a good thing. Or it could be, well, there's this relationship and there's that relationship, and which one of these do I want to invest in? And the thing about it is that you're sort of two minds about it. However it plays out, you're of two minds about it. I want a relationship. I don't really want a relationship. I would like this type of relationship. I would like that type of relationship. It doesn't matter the specifics all that much. Well, I mean, the specifics matter to you, but astrologically, the idea is you're just of two minds about things. Could go this way, could go that way. that's not something we love when we're talking about relationships, especially existing relationships. You don't like to have that ambiguity, right? We don't like to feel that ambiguity coming from our partners or anything like that either. We certainly want them to be all in, even if we have a little bit of an opportunity to step back and think, well, I wonder how I really feel about this. I know, I know I can have a couple of different thoughts about things, but we're liable to see some of that conflict as well. There's just a little bit of ambiguity and uncertainty in relationships as you and your other or your potential other or your ex other or whatever go through the various possibilities. We're multiplying, right? We have the duality of Gemini multiplied by the duality of Pisces. So we're like, it's ambiguity squared. I like that. Ambiguity squared when it comes to relationships. It'd be kind of interesting to see what happens in terms of finances and the markets and stuff like that. But that's a volatile kind of energy anyway. Other than that, the moon is waning, but it doesn't get down to the last quarter to the end of the week. So it is a time, we're getting near a time of assessing things, but with the last quarter moon so close to Sun Neptune, you can't really assess anything. You can't assess anything on a realistic level. Like, it's not good for making investment decisions and things like that. What we're looking at in terms of being able to sort of see how you feel about things. It's a sort of an assessing how you feel about things, but you don't really know how you feel about things. So we'll leave out that aspect of the last quarter moon. You sort of see what you've gotten out of something, but you don't really know. And then on Sunday, reversing again to the other end of the week, on Sunday, the 18th, the sun is trine Pluto. Now, whatever kind of ambiguous and uncertain energies you have in terms of relationship and or everything else, that wonderful person that you're so excited about, the person that you think is an absolute demon, all of the things that are happening on all the different levels that are so up in the air, the sun trines Pluto, and all of a sudden, it looks like there is a direction. There's something that you can do. Note that this is happening on Sunday, so it's strongest on Saturday and Sunday. And by the time you're probably going to be putting much of this into action, it's going to be Monday. And already the aspect is fading. It is, in fact, on Sunday, though, that Mercury is again opposite Jupiter. This is, remember, Mercury hit Jupiter going forward, and now he's coming backwards. What does that mean? It means that issues that were hot right around the beginning of September, end of August, beginning of September, the last time the aspect was exact was September 2nd, but who's counting? Are likely to get revisited next weekend. This is an energy that is likely to spill out into things like work, any type of negotiations and so on, any kind of agreements that need to be come to are going to be revised again. Now we're taking another shot at it. Maybe we come back to the table and discuss things again. But it's not until mid-October, when the aspect forms, when Mercury goes direct, that we're going to really get any answers. So go ahead and work on it Friday, Monday, whatever, but expect that it's provisional. So that Sun-Pluto energy, it's good. Do with it what you can, but we're likely to be sort of spinning backwards on things. Most things are probably going to need to be revised anyway. Remember, of course, I said it before, but I'll say it again. All the usual mercurial things apply, like when Mercury is retrograde, like watch out for technology and cars and things like that, but especially contracts and leases and any kind of thing that you have to sign, because this retrograde is happening in the sign of Libra, which rules, is in charge of those things. So contracts, leases, really anything that requires signing, It'll be interesting to see what happens to the DocuSign company over the course of the next couple of weeks. Anyway, that's a pretty long forecast to say nothing's happening. What else were you going to do?